What is up, everybody? My name is Justin. This is Forever Self-Employed. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to make more money advertising with yard signs in particular. I'm joined with a very special guest. Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
What's up, everybody? This is Reginald here with ProFlow Exterior Cleaning and Power Wash in Fayetteville, North Carolina. How y'all doing?
Happy to have you on, Reggie. I mean, I watched one of your videos specifically on the yard sign strategy, and it was so unique. I'd never heard of one of the particular things that you do, and we're going to cover that towards the end of the video, but I had to have you on to talk to you about it, so I'm glad you could join me today. But first and foremost, how long have you actually been advertising with yard signs for?
We've been advertising for about 3 years, man, since 2018. This is our third season trying the yard signs. They've worked amazing so far, so we're in the game and keep doing yard signs, man.
What percentage would you say of your leads actually come from your yard signs?
Going off of the history of our data from putting out signs, right now we're looking at about 50 to 60% of our leads generated from lawn signs, which is astronomical. So, I mean, 50 to 6% out of 100 customers, we're getting 50 or 60 of those coming from that. That's massive, man. So they work for us.
Man, that is incredible, because like oftentimes building up an online presence can take years. However, it seems like yard signs is a strategy that can be implemented right away and can get you business right away. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely do. When we first came into this, we went with the SEO to Google because we thought that was the way to go to build, kind of try to get traction very quickly. When we started putting those first signs out, I mean, it just blew us away at the amount of people that were calling from a simple sign. You know, it's not something that I would per se call from, so I didn't think it would work. But I was amazed at the amount of people that call from seeing a sign, a service, and a phone number.
And it's crazy, like once you start putting out signs, you probably notice signs much more often now.
Absolutely. I see them everywhere now.
So my next question is, how should we go about designing our signs so that way we can get the most return on placing them?
There's a few options you want to consider. Number one, I think size is important. A lot of your company is going to offer you a 12 by 18, which is extremely small for a lawn sign. That's ideal for a sign if you're going to put in somebody or put on somebody's property. The next sign is next size, I think, is a 12 by 18 or 24 by 18, and then a 24 by 36. So generally we do a 18, I think it was an 18 by 24. Yeah, 18 by 24 is the ideal size you want to stay in range of. And then what's most importantly is your color, your contrasting colors. You want to pick vibrant colors that contrast well together, blues, pinks, blacks, your cooler colors, along with the dark color would contrast great. And then you want to kind of highlight 1 to 2 services on the front with the phone number. You want to get the service as bold and as big as you possibly can. That way it can grab the customer's attention. Number one, what I see that'll grab the attention is the color as I'm driving, and I kind of look at things from a consumer basis, because you have to run your business as a business owner, but you also have to think as a consumer when you're marketing, when you're advertising. So if it grabs my attention just off the color first, then I'm more apt to actually try to read what's on the sign. If the colors don't work well together, it's not going to catch my attention as I'm driving. So therefore, I've lost that opportunity of engagement. So color, contrast, font size, good font choice, simple 1 to 2 services, and phone number.
We got the design down. Next, let's kind of talk about where they should actually be placed, because that's probably just as crucial as the sign.
I notice a lot of times guys, they put signs everywhere. They put them all along the highway, and I'm talking the small 12 by 18s. I see them all along the highways, the main roads, the back roads. So I'm like, is that really effective? So before we started putting signs out, we really just try to strategize. Okay, we have a limited amount of signs because we have a budget for signs. What's the most way for us to effectively use this budget and to get the most engagement with our signs? So we kind of started thinking about hitting those neighborhoods where we want to market, those mid-income level, the high income level neighborhoods. And then we want to find how we position those signs. Where can we get the most engagement? And we found that it's when customers are leaving their communities or coming back into their housing communities, in those areas where they have a stop sign. You have to stop. That's the law. That's what traffic says. You got to stop. So we can get a sign near a stop sign or near that traffic sign. They got more attention, or they can pay our sign more attention because they're stopped already, number one. If you're a customer or you're a consumer driving along a highway, you're not paying attention to line signs. You're paying attention to traffic. You're driving. You got tunnel vision. But if you're coming out of your home and you're out of your community, you're stopped at that lawn sign, you got to look left and right anyway. Well, you might as well look at this sign because you got to look left and right anyway. So that's kind of our strategy. You know, we want to put it where they're coming in and out of their communities when they're just leaving home or coming back. They're thinking about home. They're thinking about things they got to get done at the house. And what better way to catch them when they're getting ready to leave or come back home. So just trying to, you know, think of different ways, think of different strategies that we can engage and get the most engagement out of our signs.
I love that perspective of coming at it more of a quality standpoint rather than a quantity standpoint, because I completely agree. I see the guys with the signs all the way along the interstate and everything. And another perspective as well that I love that you've taken is the fact that you're looking for who's my ideal customer, because let's be honest, most of the people driving on the interstate, we don't even want to get a call from them. That's just going to waste our time, you know? So we spoke about placement. We spoke about how the signs should be made. In that video that I was watching, you had an awesome strategy for actually tracking your signs. So would you mind kind of speaking to that a little bit?
Sure. So one thing before we started putting out the signs, you know, the signs cost money. You know, when you're paying $5 to $7 a sign, you get personally attached to the signs and they become your baby. You look, I want my sign to stay down. I want to know where I put my sign at, and I don't want anybody, hopefully, to take my sign. So we want to try to figure out a way as business owners to put things in place that we can measure. You know, I want to measure how successful this works. I want to have some data. I want to have some numbers so I know if it's working or if it's not working. So I looked into some things online to try to figure out how we can GPS track signs. And I think there may be 1 to 2 solutions that's very, very expensive. So then I was like, okay, if we use Google Maps, let me see what Google Maps may have available. So I'm browsing Google Maps and I do a long press on the map. So when I open the Google Maps app and do a long press on the screen, icon came up, said drop pin. So now I'm like, okay, we can drop a pin wherever we are. So that's kind of how the idea came about. You drop a pin and it will give you the option to label that pin. So for instance, we will label that pin sign 1 or lawn sign 1, exactly where we are. And then we would save that pin on Google Maps. So on Google Maps, you can edit a map, you can save pins, and then you can recall that existing map to show where all your pin locations are saved for that particular map. So you can name your map lawn signs, you can name your map vehicle locations, whatever, but you can track every single sign. So now we don't have to manually or try to remember where signs are. I can just pull my Google Maps app up, go to that specific map, lawn signs, and then it'll show red pins, or it'll show turquoise pins of every sign that we put out. Now I know exactly where to drive within that 2-week time frame to check on every single sign.
That is absolutely incredible, man. That's the coolest. That's probably one of the coolest marketing strategies that I've heard yet, honestly. You check them on a 2-week basis. About how long do they last for before they get picked up by somebody?
That's the hard question. We put a sign out one time. I think the fastest that it was taken up had to be, because I put a sign on a route in a neighborhood that I kind of pass by every day. And this is recently. I think that sign may have stayed up 3 days tops. So in a 2-week, I would ideally say try to check at least once a week if you can, depending on the route and your time. But in 2 weeks, I mean, I've had a sign going in 2 days. I've had a sign stay up for a year. You see what I'm saying? So it just depends, man. You just have to keep checking. You have to make time in your schedule to check on your money and to check on your signs, because you got money invested into it.
Excellent advice. It's probably the most in-depth sign video I've seen. I mean, obviously, if you guys want even more information, go check out Reggie's channel. I will leave it linked in the comment section and the description. I'll even link it to the sign video in particular. I'm sure you even shared even more information on that. But just excellent advice. And like you said, this makes up for 60% of your company's leads. So, I mean, it just goes to show that if it's done the right way, it could be very profitable. So, Reggie, thank you so much for coming on today.
Yes, sir.
Every guest that comes onto the channel has to pick the word of the day. What would you like the word of the day to be?
Well, let me first say, Justin, thank you for having us, man. It is truly an honor for you to extend the invitation to us. We are very appreciative, man. So we definitely want to show our love and thank you for having us on your channel. Hey, You got a great following, man, and we aspire to be like you. If I had to pick a word of the day, sauce it up, man.
Sauce it up. So if you guys made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment down below, sauce it up, and I will hashtag you a real one. Like I said, I'll be leaving Reggie's channel down in the comment section description, so be sure to go click through and subscribe to him. Under that as well will be a link to where he gets his signs. So if you guys want to get very similar signs to the ones that he talks about, you can click through and purchase those there. But my name is Justin. This is Forever Self-Employed. And until next time, hustle hard and get that money, baby. Peace.